Welcome, everybody. Welcome, fellow patriots. Welcome, fellow deplorables. Welcome once again to the Conservative Commandos radio show. I'm Sharron Angle. I'm here with my co-host, Dr. Wright, Dr. Nasir Shaikh, and we're coming to you from the studios of the Conservative Commandos radio show with a shout out to our listeners in Jacksonville, Tampa, and the Villages, Florida, Reno, and Las Vegas, Nevada, Macon, Georgia, Lancaster and Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Boulder and Colorado Springs, Colorado, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Long Beach, California. We're everywhere. And now we are in Alexandria, Virginia and Washington, D.C. Dr. Nasir Shaikh, welcome our audience to the Conservative Commandos radio show the way you always do.
Thanks, Sharron. Hey, guess what? It's just an absolutely another great day to be alive and well and free and living in the United States of America, the greatest country in the history of the world. I've got a symbol of that behind me. I've got my Mount Rushmore of conservatives, got my American flag tie on, and we're just ready to rock and roll, Sharon, once again.
And speaking of rocking and rolling, you know, the news is always rocking and rolling. It's just amazing.
It's what keeps us in business.
You're exactly right. I remember Rick Trader, our producer, saying, I don't know what we are needed for now that Trump has been elected to the presidency in 2016, right? It's a great day to be in America, make America great again. 2016, the Republicans are in control of the House and the Senate and the presidency. No need for conservatives to even talk about this. We're in good shape, and nobody will want to ever listen to CCR show again or check into ccrshow.com and download our broadcast. But hello, it's been a battle ever since that election, and it's a battle of philosophy, not just Republican, Democrat, but socialist and constitutional Americans. It is really down to that, isn't it, Dr. Shaikh?
It really is. It really is. Remember Andrew Breitbart said that, culture is downstream from politics. And one of the things that President Trump has taught, or at least has been fighting on on not just on the periphery, but he's taken it head on, is this culture war and the Hollywood, the hypocrites in Hollywood, because he understands that that's where, young children, adolescents, millennials, even people, what we talk about, that low voter turnout group,
sure.
Low information, voter or whatever, that they're shaped by the policies. And look at what's happened, like you talked about conservatism. Look at what's happened to the destruction of marriage between a man and a woman. Look at what's happened between the destruction now in terms of, what's happening with the LGBTQ. And like you and I have always said, what people do in their own bedrooms, the privacy of their own lives, that's perfectly fine. But when you have the minority of these trying to push onto the majority their agenda, and saying that we're in the wrong and we have to accept them, we're accepting of you. We just don't want the fact that, that what you're basically doing is going to become, the norm, let's say. And maybe I'm politically incorrect for saying that, but guess what? We need to fight that. And political correctness is one of the wars that President Trump is fighting. And he is winning on that battle. And he's letting us know that, go out there. Somebody challenge you and say you're a racist. Don't just cower and back away. Back up and say, no, you're the racist. You've got to basically fight the fight.
Well, I think it's even more basic than that. In the name of tolerance, they're not tolerant. They're totalitarian. Right. It's either my way or no way at all. You don't even have a right to your constitutional First Amendment. You don't have a right to your constitutional Second Amendment. And there's a good reason for that constitution. And that's why when we talk about the difference in this ideology, it's socialism or totalitarianism, my way or the highway, and freedom, true constitutional freedom. So when we talk about conservatism, it's conserving the Constitution, preserving our freedoms. This idea of liberalism has completely hijacked that word. There is no freedom on that liberal progressive side. What's over there is socialist globalism, which is totalitarianism, and that is very, very scary. We saw 2 world wars in the last century over that, and we're still fighting with these totalitarian despots in the Middle East. So the war goes on against an ideology that's juxtaposed, if you will, completely opposite to constitutional freedom.
No, you're absolutely right. Sue. And the thing is that, Sharon, is that one of the things that has always been talked about is this fact that everybody seems to be, just sort of, in terms of diversity of thought, the left and their acolytes have always talked about, we have diversity. We're the most tolerant, just like you were basically saying. We want to be all inclusive. That is true when you're talking about groups of people. Absolutely. The left, they slice and dice politics, and they play the identity politics game. However, if you're on the identity politics side of a different thought, and you're diverse enough to be thinking differently than they are, that diversity they don't want. They don't want diversity of thought. They don't want diversity of reason. And so as long as you're on, going after what they're basically saying and you're behind them on their issues, you're perfectly fine. And I'll tell you another thing. These people, and I think they show themselves now. Remember when Obama was running and everybody was still saying at that time that, we know what the left is, but they never really come out and say it. They sort of, parse the words. And when Obama said to Joe the plumber, you know what? Hey, first of all, he said, you didn't build that. And then we want to spread the wealth around. And people said, those are like Freudian slips maybe that were out there. And just the other day, Mika Brzezinski said, you know what? It's our job as the media to control what people say. And that was a Freudian slip. Now, she might have been, but you know what? It's what they're thinking in the back of their head. They don't want to come out and say it. And now it is out there to see. Day and night, black and white. We know the differences. You can't say anything now that they're couching around the edges, because they're not. They're going straight for it in everything that they talk about.
Well, and you have a couple of recent polls that have come out, too, that really underline this, that this is a very small vocal minority, that people just really don't identify with this socialistic policy. But the left-wingers have just hijacked the Democrat Party, if you will, and taken them down a road that even most Democrats can't embrace.
Well, I think what's happened is that everybody sits around in Washington, D.C., they're in that cesspool, that toilet bowl we talk about, the swamp.
Little bubble.
The little bubble. Well, you know what? The little bubble, but it's sort of like it is a bubble that controls policy for not only the United States, but around the world.
Absolutely.
So being a little bubble, it basically, Washington, D.C., it is the pulse beat, the heartbeat. Obviously, we think the wrong heartbeat, the wrong pulse beat. But this poll was done by, let me make sure I get their name correctly, Seltzer and Company and Grinnell College. And it found that the vast majority of American adults say they're America first. Less than 20% identify as socialists. So here's what they were saying in the poll. They said, how do you identify as? And they had the questions. Are you proud to be an American? 89% said yes. Are you tired of the circus in politics? 87%. Tired of circus and a believer in America first? 70%. How about if you're progressive? 54%. A gun enthusiast? 41%. A feminist? 38%. Politically incorrect? 33%, 19% identified as socialists. And it says that in March, a study by the Harvard-Harris poll asking similar questions basically came up, and this has actually gone up 4 points in some of those issues. So this was about 1,000 U.S. adults over the age of 18, 806, so over 80% of them were likely voters. I didn't get a chance to get into the poll to see what the leanings were, but if they're like most polls, they probably did have an 8 to 10 point Democratic, point spread, meaning more Democrats than Republicans. And even the independents that most of these polls choose, even the independents usually lean Democratic. So when you take a look at this poll and you go, wow, that's where I'd say when you look polls that look like they sort of are leaning in the direction that conservatives want things to be, when you look at the underlying numbers, those polls I think do have some meaning, because the other ones are basically showing that some 50 to 60% of Americans want socialism. That may be true in our millennials and younger generations, which is scary enough. But as far as right now with those adults, I think we're safe. But like you said, we can't let up off the brake. So we've got to continue talking about conservative ideas, the greatness of this country, and on and on and on.
Well, the most frightening thing about the millennials being 7 out of 10 favoring socialism over capitalism, and yet they are even a little bit ambivalent on that because they love the idea of capitalism. They in fact would like to join the capitalistic economy. So
right.
they don't understand the real differences, and I guess that's our purpose here at Conservative Commandos Radio Show, is to educate not only the low information voter, but that next generation that really isn't getting it from the educational system. And with that, we in the mainstream of America, right here in the heartland of Conservative Commandos Radio Show, and we would show up for those 89% that are proud to be an American, we need to go to a break. So we are coming to you from the Conservative Commandos Radio Network studios and around the world on the internet with TalkStream Live, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, American Political Radio, Leading Edge Radio Network, and AM/FM 24/7. Now you can watch us on TV at the AUN TV network, which airs in Northern California, places like Sacramento and San Francisco, Redding, Marin County, Chico, and Monterey. We'll be right back after these messages. I'm Sharron Angle, and my co-host is Dr. Nasir Shaikh.
Have you been leasing a property for your business or renting storage space? Are you tired of paying rent year after year? Call the experts at General Steel to own a building at up to 30% off now.
I'd been renting a building and paying someone else's mortgage, but General Steel showed me how I could own a space tailored to the needs of my business and for less than renting.
Call General Steel now at the number on your screen for our current building specials and to price your metal building system today.
My building's the dream I've had since finishing my house 14 years ago. I've been using it for a garage, workshop, and storage area for my tools and equipment, and I can't believe how great it turned out.
The economy is improving and the price of steel is expected to rise. Stop waiting. It could cost you thousands. Call General Steel now to see how you can own for less than you thought. Stop waiting to start your business or expand your operation. Call General Steel now.
Call 877-484-7002.
Welcome back, listeners. Thank you for staying through that break with us. I'm Sharron Angle. My co-host is Dr. Nasir Shaikh, and we're coming to you from the Conservative Commandos Radio Networks. If you'd like to hear a rebroadcast of our show, check out our website, ccrshow.com, ccrshow.com, or friend us, follow us, and be in tune with us on Facebook or on Twitter. And Nasir, we have some great guests lined up today.
We do. Our first guest is Marlo Lewis Jr. He's a senior fellow at the Competitive Enterprise Institute. And Marlo is going to be talking to us about his article, Climate Crisis Town Hall, that occurred, with the Democratic, candidates. We also have Paul Driessen, who's been a big part of Conservative Commandos Radio Show. He's a senior policy advisor for the Committee for a Constructive Tomorrow, and he's going to be talking about the Green New Dealers need to face some hard energy facts. And finally, we have Chris Chmielenski. He's the Deputy Director for Numbers USA, which is the largest grassroots immigration reduction organization, has over 8 million participants, and they're in every congressional district. And he's going to be talking to us about the topic, which is ICE detention facilities treats illegals to soccer fields. So,
wow.
Yes.
Wow. The news is kind of interesting to me always. And you had an article about our Second Amendment that I was intrigued by, because we don't get to hear this out in the mainstream, lamestream drive-by alphabets, the media, they will not report these kinds of stories.
Well, I'm going to cite the story, and then I'm going to cite something else where in Michigan now, this happened in Highland Park. A concealed carry permit holder shot and killed. And I love the way that the news organizations always talk about an alleged armed robber. And it goes, the suspect allegedly came inside the restaurant with the intent to allegedly rob the place. So basically it says that he was robbing the owner. When he turned to the bartender to get the cash there, the owner emptied his Glock, and he said he emptied the chamber into the guy. Now, I mean, I'm giggling and laughing, but the thing is, you know what? You never know what could happen. And they even had the police commissioner in Detroit. They were doing a survey, and I think it was one of these things on YouTube, and they had an African-American woman. She was in her she's a bouncer, and she carries a Glock 45. And she said one day she was driving in her neighborhood. She stopped off at a convenience store, and there were some guys that came by in a truck, and they said they had their AR-15s, and they opened fire. She got hit in the wrist, but guess what she said? She goes, "This thing here?" Those guys were so surprised when I pulled out my Glock and emptied my chamber into their truck. And you know what? Who's going to call 911 at that point in time when they're firing upon you? So what happens is the left, the alt-left media, the Democratic State Party-controlled media, they never talk about these kind of stories when carrying a gun has helped save not only the person who had the gun, but other patrons or people that were in that establishment. And I have yet to hear of a situation, there may be, where someone who was concealed carry opened fire when they were attacked on, and innocents got hurt. You've got to, it's a choice. Where do you want to fall on the spectrum? Do I want to be in a location where somebody comes in with a gun, there's a patron in there that can fire back? Or do I want to be like a sitting duck out there? That's a question we have to ask. So thank God for the Second Amendment.
Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. And as Rick always says, this show is brought to you by the First Amendment, but it is protected by the Second Amendment. And so as it goes, all of our rights are really dependent on whether we're able to keep them, able to defend them. And that's from not only those who are outside, but as the Constitution said, from both foreign and domestic enemies. You know, I get insulted sometimes by the news on some of these folks. I'm a woman in politics, and I've never played that gender card just because it is irrelevant. Politics is a war of minds and ideas, and it has very little to do with strength of gender or even the idea of being a man or a woman. It just doesn't come into play. If you have a good idea, you have a good mind, you are have integrity, you can go as far in politics, no matter. That was the way the system was built by our founders, and that's the way it should be. So here we have this person that insults me, this Representative Katie Hill, who has had a moral failure as far as I can see. And yet, she doesn't go down without a fight here. She doesn't just say, I've had a moral failure, need to step back from this office. She pulls out her victim card. And now it's not her moral failure that's the problem. It's everybody else. This whole idea that it's the conservatives. I'm sure it's Trump's fault too. I don't know how you feel. I don't know how you feel about this, but when she starts telling me that this isn't her fault, that she cheats on her husband, that she has all this weird stuff going on in her office. Now we've even got a new word, throuple.
Right.
What is this? Even Mr. Weiner had the grace to say, I'm sorry. I let down my constituency. I have had a moral failure here. I've let down my family. Please forgive me. But no. And maybe it is because she comes from a state that just kind of accepts that stuff. What do you think?
What we were talking about before is that what someone does in the privacy of their bedroom, consenting adults, that's between them and whoever they're consenting with, basically. Now, the question becomes is just like we have in an office setting. If this was a private office setting for a CEO, let's say, to be having some type of an affair, let's say, or these type of situations that occur with a subordinate, with, let's say, somebody, who's an intern or a secretary or somebody that you've got a power imbalance over, that's just wrong, whether it's being done in the private or the public sector. And there are rules that are out there. So she did this with intern. She did this with staffers. There's allegations that there was money that was paid.
Drugs.
Drugs inside there. So now it's not really the act. I mean, that's all the salacious stuff and the stuff that gets put on the news and it's fodder for the newscasters, to lead with that and whatever. But the real thing is these people are such hypocrites that if this had been a Republican conservative man, what the situation would have been. Okay, every media outlet, would have been on top of it, and he would have had to resign post haste, immediately. And the Me Too movement would have come out, the feminists would have come out and attacked, all of that would have happened. But because she's a female, all we're saying is it doesn't matter, female, male, if you're going to have the rules, play by the rules. So it's not the fact that she resigned, I think, because she had these things that were going on with, her husband and staffers. It's the fact that I'm looking at it from the fact of what was the illegality that was happening behind those acts. The acts were not illegal. They may have been immoral, in my opinion, but they weren't illegal. But the things that she was doing to cover that up, and you know what? Suppose, for example, like they always say, Sharon, that somebody else got a hold of these pictures and decided to, blackmail. In fact, that's what she was using some of the money for, was so that the story wouldn't get out. So these are the things that you have to look at. And maybe government people are held to a higher standard, but the reason is there's a reason. So we are protected from things happening, like this.
Well, and that's why moral failure is such a big deal
Yes.
at any level of government, is because of the idea of blackmail. They have access to secrets. And if you're being blackmailed, it may not be money that your blackmailer wants. Maybe he wants a secret. So whenever they have a moral failure there, they are vulnerable, which makes our whole country vulnerable because of that. And I guess I just hate it as a woman when another woman will not own up to what she's done in making herself vulnerable and also making our country vulnerable, and misusing her office when she won't own up to that, but instead says, if I were a man, this wouldn't have happened.
Oh, you're right. You're right. The feminists were coming out defending her and using the same thing. Yes,
right.
You're absolutely right. I mean, where are the feminists talking about, the power? And they're basically saying the same thing. I mean, a slew of them, came on the various, cable news networks, and exactly right, that a victim card, it's somebody else that was doing it. Oh, it was a husband. He published the pictures as if that's what did it.
Yeah, that's what did it. Well, this is what's going to do it for us on this segment of the show. We have to go to a break. We're coming to you from the Conservative Commandos Radio Network studios and around the world on the internet with TalkStream Live, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, American Political Radio, Leading Edge Radio Network, and AM/FM 24/7. Now you can watch us on the AUN TV network in Northern California. After this break, Nasir Shaikh And I, Sharron Angle, will be right back with our first guest, Marlo Lewis, Jr., who is a senior fellow at the Competitive Enterprise Institute. He's going to be talking to us about Climate Crisis Town Hall and Democrat candidates. We'll be right back.
AM/FM 24/7 Roku channel broadcasts all of our shows on demand. To ensure reliability, we store and stream our content on the same servers as Netflix and Amazon. Our Roku channel is free to use, and anyone owning one of the more than 10 million Roku devices can watch our channel at no cost whatsoever. If you have a television show or are thinking about producing a show, you can be a part of AM/FM 24/7's Roku channel. Watch our great shows on your Roku device. It's free and more reliable than cable TV. Are you stuck with a timeshare? Did you attend the presentation and were seduced and enticed into buying that great vacation and investment? Now you're in the terrible position of trying to figure out a way to get out of that mess. You're not alone. For over 15 years, BuyYourTimeshare.com has been helping people like yourself get out of timeshare ownership. The fact is there is no resale market. Unscrupulous telemarketers call you and say they have buyers waiting, and the next thing that happens is you give them hundreds of dollars for an ad, and you'll never hear from them again. Another fact is that an identical timeshare to yours is being offered on eBay for $1, and no one is buying it. If you want out of your timeshare, I urge you to go to BuyYourTimeshare.com or call them at 877-94-HELP-ME. That number again is 877-94-HELP-ME. BuyYourTimeshare.com. That's BuyYourTimeshare.com. 877-94-HELP-ME.
Dish TV is better than cable TV. Here's why. Dish has the nation's lowest TV price, along with an award-winning DVR that can skip commercials, record 8 shows at once, and get access to thousands of movies at your fingertips. Cable simply can't even compare. So the smart choice is to cut the cable and get Dish. Plus, you get all these great TV features, free HD DVR upgrade, free installation, and free movie channels. Say goodbye to cable and get more with Dish TV. 877-290-7764, 877-290-7764. As an added bonus, you can switch to Dish now and receive a $50 Visa gift card. So call now and get Dish TV. Call 877-290-7764, 877-290-7764. That's 877-290-7764. Limited time offer, 24-month commitment and credit qualification required. Cancellation fee, monthly equipment fees, and other restrictions apply. Promotion can change at any time.
Welcome back, listeners. Welcome back to the Conservative Commandos radio show. I'm Sharron Angle. My co-host is Dr. Nasir Shaikh, and we're coming to you, of course, from the Conservative Commandos Network studios. If you'd like to hear a rebroadcast of today's show, please check out our website, and please like us, friend us, and follow us on Facebook and on Twitter. And Nasir, we have our guest ready with us, and I'm going to introduce him. It's Marlo Lewis, Jr. He's a longtime friend of this show and is a senior fellow at the Competitive Enterprise Institute. Marlo has been published in the Washington Times, Investor's Business Daily, Tech Central Station, National Review, among others. He has appeared on various television and radio programs, and his ideas have been featured in radio commentary by Rush Limbaugh and G. Gordon Liddy. And prior to joining CEI, he served as Director of External Relations at the Driessen Foundation. During the 106th Congress, Marlo served as Staff Director for the House Government Reform Subcommittee on National Economic Growth, Natural Resources, and Regulatory Affairs. Marlo, welcome back to the Conservative Commandos radio show.
Thank you very much, Sharon.
Well, we are so excited to hear about this great town hall meeting. I missed it, so I'm sure you're going to give us a rundown. You wrote an article, CNN hosts 7-hour climate crisis town hall with Democrat presidential candidates. 7 hours on something that I consider to be fairly illegitimate. If I mean, there's obviously changes in the weather, but really climate change, and I guess they're equating now Dorian to this. What did they have to talk about for 7 hours?
Well, basically three things: that it's an existential threat, that inaction, a la Donald Trump, is immoral, and the world now needs a president who can lead the world to climate action. And yeah, it was 7 hours, and they had the perfect backdrop for it because it was coinciding with Hurricane Dorian, and still it proved to be a ratings killer. I mean, Fox News cleaned their clocks, and this observation is not original with me. Actually, Holman Jenkins pointed it out in a Wall Street Journal editorial, although many of us have thought of this in various ways, is that these people are really stuck in a rut. They think that they can prevail and get the American public to agree to really high taxes, especially taxes on energy, which is used for everything, to move, make, communicate everything that we do, and that we can spend trillions and trillions of dollars, even though we're already facing a national debt of about $20 trillion. If we just bully the American people by making them feel ashamed of the fact that they use lots of energy, and scold them and terrify them with visions of the apocalypse. And, this has actually been going on now for more than 20 years, and it hasn't worked. The smart people in politics, like, for example, Hillary Clinton's campaign manager, decided that this was revealed in one of those emails that came out that was, that supposedly was hacked by the Russians, but that he thought a carbon tax was just the kiss of death. We can't embrace this. And her campaign chairman, he himself said, "We've done all the polling on a carbon tax," and this is a quote, "and it sucks," and so they think that somehow if they just keep returning to the same playbook year in, year out, and they just turn up the decibels, they make it more and more shrill, that eventually they'll win everybody over to their side. And so far it hasn't worked, and it comes perilously close to the definition of insanity. You keep doing the same thing that doesn't work, in the expectation that this time, the next time, it'll all be different. We'll see. There's nothing more unpredictable than politics. Maybe they will prevail in 2020, and they'll be able to actually try to move this agenda through Congress. But if that happens, I believe that it will once again blow up in their faces as it did in 2010. The only time Congress has ever tried to pass a national legislation to control the use of fossil fuel energy was in 2009. It was the Waxman-Markey Cap and Trade Bill. And immediately after it narrowly passed in the House, it became politically radioactive. And the conservative movement branded it as cap and tax because they pointed out to people who didn't know what a cap and trade program was, because who's ever heard of that outside of the Washington Beltway bubble? And they said, it's actually a stealth tax on energy. And everybody said, oh, well, we don't want that. And then within weeks, it became untouchable. The Senate dithered, and at that time it was under Democratic leadership, Harry Reid. They dithered for months to try to rebrand it as something other than cap and trade so that people wouldn't even know what it was that they were trying to pass in this, and they finally gave up. And so, one way or another, reality eventually, and especially economic reality, because people don't like being made poorer, especially by the government that ostensibly represents them, that eventually will decide what happens, I think.
I hope you're right. I'm struck by the words that they use, I guess, existential. I'm always struck by their words, but existential is such a '60s word, and and
Yes,
you say we're stuck in the past, and I'm thinking I haven't heard that word since my hippie days, and I'm wondering what that was just a big word to kind of counter the other word, which was wow, and we could all say that one backwards. So it's like this whole vocabulary is coming back into vogue. And I'm looking at their candidates and I'm thinking, yep, I think they're stuck in the 60s with this whole idea of environmental preservation and stuff like that, because we've been fighting that side for years. They don't see the economics of it. They only see this existentialism that they're caught in. So talk to us a little bit about this terminology and how you feel about that.
This is and I came across a column on this just the other day by Jonah Goldberg, who is a columnist with National Review, and he points out that many of them described it as an existential threat, which means that it literally threatens your existence as a civilization, as a habitable planet. Many of them believe that, but one of them, Senator Cory Booker, called it an existential crisis, and that goes right back to 60s pop psychology and literature. And because an existential crisis means that someone is full of dread and panic about their place in the world and its meaning. And so what he said was, actually, this was a fortuitous error in terminology, because what we were witnessing when we watched the CNN climate crisis town hall was the Democrats collectively having an existential crisis about an imaginary existential threat.
Well, I just think it's hilarious to see these words coming out of their mouths, and I'm thinking, am I the only one that's picking up on this archaic or 60s type mentality and vocabulary? The other thing was,
there's another phrase from the 60s that I just noticed, because I was reading through the 150-page transcript of the 7-hour climate crisis town hall, and Senator Kamala Harris, said that we must deal with this by any means necessary. And of course, that's straight out of the jargon of the New Left of the 1960s. And she was really serious about it, because she used to be a prosecutor. She was a state attorney general. And so a lot of what she talked about is how she was going to sue fossil fuel companies, and she was going to put carbon taxes on them, but then she was also going to sue them for damages, and then sue them because they lied about the risks that they knew about but have been hiding from the public. So this is real vendetta time. This is they're going to get the man. In this case, it's the fossil fuel industry, and so we should expect a lot of. I mean, if these folks win, we should expect a lot of persecution for climate heresy. Dissenters will be intimidated into silence, that kind of thing. I mean, they've already tried to do it. They've already tried to use the RICO statute, which was developed to go after organized crime against the fossil fuel industry and their allies, which would mean organizations like us, because we didn't embrace their groupthink, politically correct speech about the climate. And so the what's at stake in the upcoming election, I think, is huge, both for our economy, but also for the Constitution of Liberty that we cherish and live under to some extent still.
Well, we need to go to a break right now. I'm going to leave the Liz Warren discussion with Nasir. I know he's probably excited as I am to see how heavy-handed Liz Warren wants to be about this whole thing. We are coming to you from the Conservative Commandos Radio Network studios and around the world on the internet with TalkStream Live, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, American Political Radio, Leading Edge Radio Network, and AM/FM 24/7. And now you can watch us on the AUN TV network in Northern California. We'll be right back with our guest, Marlo Lewis. We've been talking about the CNN 7-hour climate crisis town hall. I'm Sharron Angle. My co-host is Dr. Nasir Shaikh, and we'll be right back.
Have you been leasing a property for your business or renting storage space? Are you tired of paying rent year after year? Call the experts at General Steel to own a building at up to 30% off now.
I'd been renting a building and paying someone else's mortgage, but General Steel showed me how I could own a space tailored to the needs of my business and for less than renting.
Call General Steel now at the number on your screen for our current building specials and to price your metal building system today.
My building's the dream I've had since finishing my house 14 years ago. I've been using it for a garage, workshop, and storage area for my tools and equipment, and I can't believe how great it turned out.
The economy is improving and the price of steel is expected to rise. Stop waiting. It could cost you thousands. Call General Steel now to see how you can own for less than you thought. Stop waiting to start your business or expand your operation. Call General Steel now.
Call 877-484-7002.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call low-cost airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals too.
Call 888-431-0562. That's 888-431-0562. 888-431-0562. 888-431-0562.
Friend, do you remember when it felt good to withdraw your cash from the bank to expand a business, go on vacation, or buy a new car? Well, today, withdrawing your own cash has become a very risky business, according to The Secret War, a shocking new research report. I just read it. And folks, I was amazed to learn why banks are now required to spy on us for the government and then report any suspicious or unusual behavior. I suggest you get The Secret War free. Just call the number on the screen, no charge, from the folks at Swiss America. And get this, did you know simply spending cash today may be enough to have you branded as a potential criminal? That's right. The new war on cash is really a war against all freedom-loving Americans. The Secret War is yours free, so call the number on the screen and you can tell them Pat Boone gave you the number.
AM/FM 24/7 Roku channel broadcasts all of our shows on demand. To ensure reliability, we store and stream our content on the same servers as Netflix and Amazon. Our Roku channel is free to use, and anyone owning one of the more than 10 million Roku devices can watch our channel at no cost whatsoever. If you have a television show or are thinking about producing a show, you can be a part of AM/FM 24/7's Roku channel. Watch our great shows on your Roku device. It's free and more reliable than cable TV. Are you stuck with a timeshare? Did you attend the presentation and were seduced and enticed into buying that great vacation and investment? Now you're in the terrible position of trying to figure out a way to get out of that mess. You're not alone. For over 15 years, BuyYourTimeshare.com has been helping people like yourself get out of timeshare ownership. The fact is, there is no resale market. Unscrupulous telemarketers call you and say they have buyers waiting, and the next thing that happens is you give them hundreds of dollars for an ad, and you'll never hear from them again. Another fact is that an identical timeshare to yours is being offered on eBay for $1, and no one is buying it. If you want out of your timeshare, I urge you to go to buyyourtimeshare.com or call them at 877-94-HELP-ME. That number again is 877-94-HELP-ME. BuyYourTimeshare.com. That's BuyYourTimeshare.com. 877-94-HELP-ME.
Dish TV is better than cable TV. Here's why. Dish has the nation's lowest TV price, along with an award-winning DVR that can skip commercials, record 8 shows at once, and get access to thousands of movies at your fingertips. Cable simply can't even compare. So the smart choice is to cut the cable and get Dish. Plus, you get all these great TV features, free HD DVR upgrade, free installation, and free movie channels. Say goodbye to cable and get more with Dish TV. 877-290-7764, 877-290-7764. As an added bonus, you can switch to Dish now and receive a $50 Visa gift card. So call now and get Dish TV. Call 877-290-7764, 877-290-7764. That's 877-290-7764. Limited time offer, 24-month commitment and credit qualification required. Cancellation fee, monthly equipment fees, and other restrictions apply. Promotion can change at any time.
And we are back here on the Conservative Commandos radio show. We've been speaking with Marlo Lewis, who's a senior fellow at the Competitive Enterprise Institute. I'm Dr. Nasir Shaikh, and my co-host is Sharron Angle. Marlo, thanks for holding through that break. We certainly appreciate your time.
Glad to be with you.
Well, as you and Sharron were discussing your article on the 7-hour climate crisis town hall, I wonder how much energy those 7 hours took in terms of carbon footprint, in terms of energy resources out there. But one of the things that you had written in your article was, and this thing is one of the things that I had seen on YouTube, and Senator Warren, you say, was replying to a question. And, one of the things is, they talk about when they are giving the questions ahead of time. Well, for as well as I do, that all these questions are probably screened well in advance by some of the people that were out there. And it said that Bernie Sanders has endorsed the idea of public ownership of utilities, arguing that we can't adequately solve this crisis without removing the profit motive for the distribution of essential needs like energy. And then the questioner said, as president, would you be willing to call out capitalism in this way and advocate for the public ownership of our utilities? And you basically just told us what Senator Warren said. Gosh, even like Sharron was talking about before, all these wordings, what are we going to, like cartoons now? Gosh, golly gee, I'm not sure that's what gets you to the solution. And she says, I'm perfectly willing to take on giant corporations. I think I've been known to do it once or twice. But basically what she's saying is you're not going far enough. We're basically going to say, sorry, guys, by 2035, you're done. Could you give us an idea to the people, our listening audience, and those that are viewing us out there, what stupidity, what danger she's really talking about, that by the year 2035 to get rid of fossil fuels? What would happen to the United States?
Well, only 81% of our energy comes from fossil fuels. So
only.
And you know what happens when you make anything that is currently plentiful scarce? The price skyrockets. And that's especially true of energy, because energy is what is called in economics price inelastic. It means that people need it so much that they will continue to buy it no matter how expensive it gets. They won't cut back very much on what they purchase unless they simply go broke over it. So it will really exact a huge amount of economic pain from the consumer. But also it would make all of our manufacturing uncompetitive overnight, because manufacturing is energy intensive. There are lots of countries in the world, China, for example, that has very cheap labor. Well, we don't have cheap labor in this country, but what we do have is cheap energy. And so if you make energy 2, 3, 4, 5 times as expensive as it is, or you just make it in such short supply that there isn't enough to go around, then the United States will become very uncompetitive very fast, and there will be a huge rise in unemployment, and tax revenues will plummet. So it'll kill the goose that lays the golden eggs that these folks are so eager to gather up in their political baskets and redistribute, to their allies. But yeah, it would be a disaster. And she actually laid out 3 hard deadlines. One is by 2028, no more fossil fuel passenger cars. They'll all have to be electric by 2028. Okay, even though right now it's something like less than 2% of the vehicles sold are electric vehicles. So Americans are just going to have to adapt. They're going to have to adjust, and from 2%, which is mostly wealthy people buying these things, then the only vehicles that shall be sold by 2028 will be electric vehicles, and then by 2030 it expands to include buses and what was it? It was larger vehicles would all have to be electric, and then by 2035, an all non-fossil fueled electric supply system. This is what she basically just thinks we're going to lay down the law, and the economy is just going to have to obey. Everybody, who produces energy or makes cars is just going to have to do it our way.
You're right, Marlo. I mean, the thing is, nobody out there, journalism is so dead now. Nobody even bothers to ask the follow-up questions, as a moderator there. The next question could have been from Wolf, if they were playing this, the way it should be done, is, well, can you explain to everybody out there that by the year 2028, if everybody's supposed to be, this audience, how many of you people drove in a car today? How many of you people would have been willing to switch to an electric vehicle if it means that you're going to have to pay more out of pocket for that vehicle? Where are the charging stations? Where is the energy going to come from the charging station? Where is the energy and the billions of tons of steel and concrete that are going to be needed for these wind turbine engines? They don't ask those questions, do they?
No, they don't. And they all assume the broken window fallacy, which is that you break a window and it creates more business for the glazier, the window maker, and so that makes us richer. So they're just thinking, well, if we just decree that all this stuff has to be mothballed or sent to the scrap heap, then there will be a huge demand for renewable substitutes, and that will create jobs and wealth. And that's what Bernie Sanders is arguing. We'll create so many jobs that we will, at the same time, create so many new taxpayers that we will actually lower, the national debt. We'll lower the deficits. This is just the other thing that Senator Harris, not Senator Harris, but Senator Warren, and some of the other candidates as well. What they were saying is that, look, we also have to ban hydraulic fracturing. This has to stop. We have to ban exports and imports of energy. So, you look at hydraulic fracturing, in just the last 10 years, it has turned the United States into the world leader in energy. It has been an enormous contributor to the growth of our economy, to the growth in jobs, which has pushed unemployment levels to the lowest that we've seen in decades, and somehow all of that would just be, in 10 to 15 years, we just have to make it all stop. But we'll all be better off, trust us, because why? I mean, even if you accept their science, or their scientific assumptions, once you crunch the climate models, even if the United States goes to a zero-emission economy tomorrow, we avert only a little over, we avert a little under 0.2 of a degree Celsius by the year 2100. So the idea that somehow people living today, or even our children or our children's children, are going to reap huge benefits from a better climate between now and 2050, after we've expended all these trillions of dollars and destroyed trillions of dollars worth of infrastructure, is just cockamamie. To use an expression that was very
back from the 60s
in New York, where I grew up.
Well, we're speaking here with Marlo Lewis Jr., who's a senior fellow at the Competitive Enterprise Institute. Marlo, boy, those segment just went by so fast. But for our listening audience and viewing audience out there, please share with them where they can, read your articles, go to find out more about the Competitive Enterprise Institute, and some of the other things that you folks are working on.
Well, thank you so much. So they can visit our website, which is CEI.org. That stands for Competitive Enterprise Institute, CEI.org. And we have a blog to which I contribute fairly frequently, and also you can look at publications and you can look at studies that we've done or comment letters that we've written on federal agency regulatory proposals. So it's all right there, very accessible.
Well, thank you so much. That was Marlo Lewis, a senior fellow at the Competitive Enterprise Institute. I am Dr. Nasir Shaikh, and my co-host here is Sharron Engel, and we're coming to you from the Conservative Commandos Radio Network studios and around the world on the internet with TalkStream Live, iHeartRadio, TuneIn American Political Radio, Leading Edge Radio Network, and AM FM 24/7. We'll be right back in just a couple of minutes, so stay tuned. Don't go away. We've got other guests lined up.
Have you been leasing a property for your business or renting storage space? Are you tired of paying rent year after year? Call the experts at General Steel to own a building at up to 30% off now.
I'd been renting a building and paying someone else's mortgage, but General Steel showed me how I could own a space tailored to the needs of my business and for less than renting.
Call General Steel now at the number on your screen for our current building specials and to price your metal building system today.
My building's the dream I've had since finishing my house 14 years ago. I've been using it for a garage, workshop, and storage area for my tools and equipment, and I can't believe how great it turned out.
The economy is improving and the price of steel is expected to rise. Stop waiting. It could cost you thousands. Call General Steel now to see how you can own for less than you thought. Stop waiting to start your business or expand your operation. Call General Steel now.
Call 877-484-7002.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call low-cost airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals too.
Call 888-431-0562. That's 888-431-0562. 888-431-0562. 888-431-0562.
Friend, do you remember when it felt good to withdraw your cash from the bank to expand a business, go on vacation, or buy a new car? Well, today, withdrawing your own cash has become a very risky business, according to The Secret War, a shocking new research report. I just read it. And folks, I was amazed to learn why banks are now required to spy on us for the government and then report any suspicious or unusual behavior. I suggest you get The Secret War free. Just call the number on the screen, no charge, from the folks at Swiss America. And get this, did you know simply spending cash today may be enough to have you branded as a potential criminal? That's right. The new war on cash is really a war against all freedom-loving Americans. The Secret War is yours free, so call the number on the screen and you can tell them Pat Boone gave you the number.
AM/FM 24/7 Roku channel broadcasts all of our shows on demand. To ensure reliability, we store and stream our content on the same servers as Netflix and Amazon. Our Roku channel is free to use, and anyone owning one of the more than 10 million Roku devices can watch our channel at no cost whatsoever. If you have a television show or are thinking about producing a show, you can be a part of AM/FM 24/7's Roku channel. Watch our great shows on your Roku device. It's free and more reliable than cable TV. Are you stuck with a timeshare? Did you attend the presentation and were seduced and enticed into buying that great vacation and investment? Now you're in the terrible position of trying to figure out a way to get out of that mess. You're not alone. For over 15 years, BuyYourTimeshare.com has been helping people like yourself get out of timeshare ownership. The fact is, there is no resale market. Unscrupulous telemarketers call you and say they have buyers waiting, and the next thing that happens is you give them hundreds of dollars for an ad, and you'll never hear from them again. Another fact is that an identical timeshare to yours is being offered on eBay for $1, and no one is buying it. If you want out of your timeshare, I urge you to go to buyyourtimeshare.com or call them at 877-94-HELP-ME. That number again is 877-94-HELP-ME. Buyyourtimeshare.com. That's buyyourtimeshare.com. 877-94-HELP-ME.
Dish TV is better than cable TV. Here's why. Dish has the nation's lowest TV price, along with an award-winning DVR that can skip commercials, record 8 shows at once, and get access to thousands of movies at your fingertips. Cable simply can't even compare. So the smart choice is to cut the cable and get Dish. Plus, you get all these great TV features, free HD DVR upgrade, free installation, and free movie channels. Say goodbye to cable and get more with Dish TV. 877-290-7764, 877-290-7764. As an added bonus, you can switch to Dish now and receive a $50 Visa gift card. So call now and get Dish TV. Call 877-290-7764, 877-290-7764. That's 877-290-7764. Limited time offer, 24-month commitment and credit qualification required. Cancellation fee, monthly equipment fees, and other restrictions apply. Promotion can change at any time.
And welcome, everybody. Welcome back, fellow patriots. We're coming to you from the Conservative Commandos Radio Network studios. I'm your host, Dr. Nasir Shaikh, and on the other side, my co-host is Sharron Engel, and we're going to be speaking with Paul Driessen, who's the Senior Policy Advisor for the Committee for a Constructive Tomorrow, CFACT. Paul has also written many articles and books on energy, the environment, and human rights issues. Paul, welcome back to the Conservative Commandos radio show.
It's always nice to join you. Thanks for having me.
Well, great. Well, we want to talk to you about the article that you wrote. This is something, folks, that you've really got to read out there. Buckets of Icy Cold Reality. The Democrat presidential candidates and the Green New Dealers need to face some hard energy facts, by Paul Driessen. And Paul, I like the way that you talked about Green New Dealers, because in your article, you basically said that these people here, Cory Booker, opened the bidding at this craps table at $3 trillion. You then said that Kamala Harris and Julian Castro raised it to $10 trillion, and then good old Bernie B.S. Sanders upped it to $16 trillion. And then they finally got down to business telling us which personal choices and living standards they want us to live by, but obviously not for them. So, Paul, could you just go ahead and give our listening and viewing audience what you talked about, this cold dose of reality, this ice bucket to be thrown on them? What are they talking about? And what dose reality do these people need to come to grips with?
Yeah, thanks. That's an excellent opening question. And let me preface by saying Bernie Sanders' $16 trillion bill for his Green New Deal Climate Protection Act, compare that to our $20 trillion that is our annual gross domestic product. So we're talking about a lot of money, and it's going to come out of our pockets as taxpayers and consumers. So the two buckets of icy cold reality I want to throw on these people's heads repeatedly, if necessary, till we at least get their attention, are, number one, we do not face a man-made climate crisis. Maybe the temperatures are going up a little bit, and maybe they're not. It depends on whether you're using monitoring stations that are contaminated by urban heat island effect, or if you're looking where you do see some increases, or you're looking at satellite and balloon measurements where you see virtually nothing. And in any event, we're talking about tenths or hundredths of a degree. You're never going to feel that. The models that they keep relying on, the projections that they had for this year, their predictions, how hot it was going to be this year, 2019, those predictions are a full degree Fahrenheit above where we really are. So how do you trust that kind of nonsense? They claim we're going to have more tornadoes, more hurricanes. Just the opposite is the case. And in fact, last year, 2018, was the first year in recorded history that the United States did not get a violent F4 or F5 tornado. Not one the entire year. And we just came out, when Harvey hit, we had just come out of a 12-year lapse of no Category 3 to 5 hurricanes hitting the United States. So my point is, if climate change is being directed by carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, and that carbon dioxide is going up to about 0.04% at this point, and that's supposed to be causing all kinds of bad stuff. Well, no tornadoes and no hurricanes for 12 years, that's got to be due to carbon dioxide in the atmosphere too, right? But you're never going to get those guys to admit any of that. So that brings me, sorry for this long answer, it brings me to my second bucket of cold reality, and that is that their prescription for getting rid of fossil fuels, getting rid of coal, oil, natural gas, our gasoline-powered cars, our fossil fuel backup generators for wind and solar, our pipelines, all that sort of stuff. No more commercial air travel for anybody except the elites, the ruling elites. All those switches from fossil fuels that are 80% of all our energy to renewables, biofuels, solar, wind, and batteries would have massive environmental consequences that they do not want to talk about.
Well, Paul, out of, this is something that I like to read about, and out of probably everything that I've read so far on this whole climate change scheme, I think your article is absolutely an indispensable blueprint. I think it is a way to basically go on the attack with facts, with logic, also with emotion, because you talk about, for example, solar panels. Generating, and this is what you're writing, generating the 3.9 billion, that's with the B, megawatt hours that Americans consumed in 2018 would mean we would have to completely blanket over 12 million acres. In other words, half of Virginia with solar panels, and get the sun to shine at the Arizona intensity that you're talking about, 24/7, 365. Give us an idea of what it would be like if we were to basically try to say we want America to go completely solar.
Well, just that. Just imagine, you're never going to get 24/7, 365, high noon Arizona year-round, especially up in places like Minnesota. Winter sunlight up there is not only a few hours. You get snow blanketing your solar panels. You get very lousy sunlight all winter long. If you're going to connect to a bunch of solar panels, and this is just to generate that power, assuming you've got it 24/7, 365, which you don't. So you're going to need a lot more solar panels than that, and transmission lines connecting everything, and you're still going to have no power every night unless you've got them all connected to batteries. And then you need a whole lot more solar panels, because then you also have to charge up all those batteries every day, so that when the sun isn't shining, you've got something to run your household, your factory, your business, your school, your hospital with. So just imagine blanketing massive habitats, wiping out everything that would normally be on that land, plants and desert tortoises and so forth. That would all be gone, so that we can have free, renewable, sustainable, eco-friendly solar power. It's just so absurd. Only a Democrat can believe this stuff.
That's so true. And we've been speaking here with Paul Driessen, who is the Senior Policy Advisor for the Committee of a Constructive Tomorrow, CFACT, and his article, Democratic Presidential Candidates and Green New Dealers Need to Face Some Hard Energy Facts. Paul, we've got to go into a break. Could we hold you over for another segment?
Absolutely.
Well, thank you. And you're watching us and listening to us here on the Conservative Commandos Radio Network from the network studios. I'm your host, Dr. Nasir Shaikh. On the other side, my co-host is Sharron Engel. And we can be heard around the world on the internet with TalkStream Live, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, American Political Radio, Leading Edge Radio Network, and AM 24/7. Folks, hold on for just as we go into this break, and we'll be right back with Paul Driessen.
Have you been leasing a property for your business or renting storage space? Are you tired of paying rent year after year? Call the experts at General Steel to own a building at up to 30% off now.
I'd been renting a building and paying someone else's mortgage, but General Steel showed me how I could own a space tailored to the needs of my business and for less than renting.
Call General Steel now at the number on your screen for our current building specials and to price your metal building system today.
My building's the dream I've had since finishing my house 14 years ago. I've been using it for a garage, workshop, and storage area for my tools and equipment, and I can't believe how great it turned out.
The economy is improving and the price of steel is expected to rise. Stop waiting. It could cost you thousands. Call General Steel now to see how you can own for less than you thought. Stop waiting to start your business or expand your operation. Call General Steel now.
Call 877-484-7002.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call low-cost airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals too.
Call 888-431-0562. That's 888-431-0562. 888-431-0562. 888-431-0562.
Friend, do you remember when it felt good to withdraw your cash from the bank to expand a business, go on vacation, or buy a new car? Well, today, withdrawing your own cash has become a very risky business, according to The Secret War, a shocking new research report. I just read it. And folks, I was amazed to learn why banks are now required to spy on us for the government and then report any suspicious or unusual behavior. I suggest you get The Secret War free. Just call the number on the screen, no charge, from the folks at Swiss America. And get this, did you know simply spending cash today may be enough to have you branded as a potential criminal? That's right. The new war on cash is really a war against all freedom-loving Americans. The Secret War is yours free, so call the number on the screen and you can tell them Pat Boone gave you the number.
AM/FM 24/7 Roku channel broadcasts all of our shows on demand. To ensure reliability, we store and stream our content on the same servers as Netflix and Amazon. Our Roku channel is free to use, and anyone owning one of the more than 10 million Roku devices can watch our channel at no cost whatsoever. If you have a television show or are thinking about producing a show, you can be a part of AM/FM 24/7's Roku channel. Watch our great shows on your Roku device. It's free and more reliable than cable TV. Are you stuck with a timeshare? Did you attend the presentation and were seduced and enticed into buying that great vacation and investment? Now you're in the terrible position of trying to figure out a way to get out of that mess. You're not alone. For over 15 years, BuyYourTimeshare.com has been helping people like yourself get out of timeshare ownership. The fact is, there is no resale market. Unscrupulous telemarketers call you and say they have buyers waiting, and the next thing that happens is you give them hundreds of dollars for an ad, and you'll never hear from them again. Another fact is that an identical timeshare to yours is being offered on eBay for $1, and no one is buying it. If you want out of your timeshare, I urge you to go to BuyYourTimeshare.com or call them at 877-94-HELP-ME. That number again is 877-94-HELP-ME. BuyYourTimeshare.com. That's BuyYourTimeshare.com. 877-94-HELP-ME.
Dish TV is better than cable TV. Here's why. Dish has the nation's lowest TV price, along with an award-winning DVR that can skip commercials, record 8 shows at once, and get access to thousands of movies at your fingertips. cable simply can't even compare. So the smart choice is to cut the cable and get Dish. Plus, you get all these great TV features, free HD DVR upgrade, free installation, and free movie channels. Say goodbye to cable and get more with Dish TV. 877-290-7764, 877-290-7764. As an added bonus, you can switch to Dish now and receive a $50 Visa gift card. So call now and get Dish TV. Call 877-290-7764, 877-290-7764. That's 877-290-7764. Limited time offer, 24-month commitment and credit qualification required. Cancellation fee, monthly equipment fees, and other restrictions apply. Promotion can change at any time.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Conservative Commandos radio show. We are coming to you from the Conservative Commandos Radio Network studios with a shout-out to our listeners in Jacksonville, Tampa, and the Villages, Florida, Las Vegas and Reno, Nevada, Macon, Georgia, Lancaster, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Boulder and Colorado Springs, Colorado, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Long Beach, California, and now in Washington, D.C. and Alexandria, Virginia. Nasir and I have been talking with our guest, Paul Driessen, about an article that he's written, Buckets of Icy Cold Reality, Democrat Presidential Candidates and New Green New Dealers need to face some hard energy facts. Thanks for waiting through that break with us, Paul. I wanted to talk to you about these bans, these things they have got there that they want to do. It's not just a money ante here. They want to ban all commercial air travel and change our dietary guidelines. What's going on here with these guys? I mean, this is like an all-out change the whole lifestyle of America, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. And not just our lifestyle, our living standards would go down, our nutrition would go down. They want to switch us over to an all-veggie diet, no beef. They've got big plans for all of us. I'm keep waiting for the UN to come out with its insect diet that they're going to feed all their delegates to at the next global warming summit or the next agricultural summit, the next Democratic National Committee Center conference. I haven't seen any of that. They're still serving steaks there, but they want the rest of us peons, the little people, to completely switch our diets and go with jobs that don't require much energy, households that don't require much air conditioning or heating or any at all, or whatever we can get from electricity generated by wind and solar when it's available. But, of course, they're not going to be living by any of those standards that they have for the rest of us. And well, that's what there's some.
It sounds so much like the USSR and socialism around the world. You get rid of the middle class. You have two classes. You have the very rich who get all of those things, and then you have the very poor who have none of those things. Is that really their goal?
It certainly seems to be. They've certainly got their intention of getting rid of people around the world with population control, and by controlling their access to energy, their access to food, they want third world countries to practice what they call agroecology, which means you don't use tractors, you use your oxen just as you have for millennia. You don't use hybrid seeds, you use traditional seeds. You don't use modern fertilizers or pesticides. You certainly don't use genetically modified corn or something like that. And basically you just keep your kids and yourself out in the fields all day, battling the insects, trying to get something to grow enough to feed your family. I can't imagine trying to live that way and trying to live without electricity and running water and indoor plumbing. My grandmother used to tell me the only good thing about the good old days is that they're gone. Well, these guys want to bring those good old days back for us and prevent the third world from getting any better than it is, except marginally along the edges, whatever they can improve their lives with by using a solar panel on the roof of their hut, or maybe one or two wind turbines for their whole village. Dung patties are still going to be de rigueur. It's just outrageous. It's, eco-imperialistic. It's eco-manslaughter. And I can't stand the whole idea. And then back to the United States, they certainly don't want to talk about how many wind turbines or batteries or any of that would be required to impose their Green New Deal utopian system on us, or how much land would be taken up with that, and how much mining would be required to dig out all the ores to create the metals to make those wind turbines and solar panels and batteries. None of that gets discussed at these briefings or town hall meetings on CNN. They don't even mention any of these issues.
Well, I live in the land of wide open spaces out here in Nevada, and I've actually been to Nellis Air Force Base, which you mentioned in your article, and I've seen the acres and acres of solar panels. I want you to talk about it because I saw it and I thought, really? I wonder how much they're actually powering, because they told us that they couldn't even power all of Nellis Air Force Base on all those acres and acres of solar panels. So talk to us in real terms about solar.
Yeah, so Nellis Air Force Base has 140 acres of solar panels. It generates a measly 15 megawatts. That means the Palo Verde nuclear power plant, which is on about the same amount of acreage for the actual power plant over there in the Phoenix area, Arizona, generates 760 times more energy, more electricity in a year than Nellis Air Force Base does from about the same amount of acreage. And Palo Verde generates it 90 to 95% of the time with a little changeover for fuel rods and stuff like that. The Nellis place generates about 30 or 40% of the year. So those numbers are stark and unbelievable. No wonder the Democrats, the environmentalists, the Green New Dealers don't want to talk about any of these issues that I bring up in this article.
Well, and Harry Reid, that's his pet, is this solar energy. Of course, we live in the land of unclouded days, so that's fine for a place like Nevada where we have 360 sunshiny days a year. But it doesn't work if you don't have the sun, is what I'm told. So, and those are scientists saying you got to have sun, and you also have to have a backup for when the sun don't shine. So what's their backup?
Well, right now they've got the backup of nuclear power, coal, and gas. But the Democrats that are running for president want to get rid of all that. They think we're going to switch over to batteries. And I was running some numbers and talking to a couple friends. If we put Elon Musk's gigafactory to work to create enough batteries to power to back up the United States for 7 windless days, it would take several hundred years to make enough batteries to do that from that factory.
Just for 7 days. Just for 7
days, yes. And there's a couple of other things. Number one, it's going to take massive amounts of metals, including rare earth metals, lithium, chromium, cadmium, and a lot of those metals are being dug out of the ground over there in the Democratic Republic of Congo by 40,000 children and their parents, basically slave and child labor. Let's ask some of the Democrats why they're in favor of slave and child labor. I'd love to hear their answer to that.
That's stunning. It's shocking. I don't think they live in the real world, Paul, because they say they want to replace 100% of U.S. gasoline with ethanol. Talk to us about ethanol and the problems with ethanol. I know it destroys engines. I know that much, but there's other stuff that's wrong too.
Yeah, well, let's say we're going to replace all the gasoline with corn-based ethanol here in the United States. I'm not talking about other uses of the fossil fuels that we're pulling out of the ground for other than making gasoline right now. Let's just going to replace the gasoline for our cars. It would take some 360 million acres planted in corn that we're going to turn into ethanol. And you don't just magically turn that into ethanol, and you don't magically grow that corn. It all takes gasoline and diesel fuel and fertilizers and pesticides and all kinds of other technologies that don't run on ethanol. But let's assume we're going to do that. 360 million acres, that's more than twice the size of California, just planted in corn to turn into ethanol. And then, because they don't want to just get rid of gasoline in our cars, they want to get rid of all these fossil fuels that are used to make our plastics, our pharmaceuticals, our cosmetics, all sorts of other things that are made from petroleum. They want to get rid of that. So in order to get that from corn-based ethanol for those hydrocarbons, and they're not really hydrocarbons, but I'm just sort of stretching this and tossing this around a little bit. We'd have to plant several times, 4 times the land area of Texas in corn and biofuels, canola oil, to get that kind of fuel base.
We're out of time, Paul Driessen. We're up against a heartbreak. Please tell us how they can follow you, read your article, and get more information about this.
Yeah, several really great places. Number one, cfact.org, cfact.org. Another is What's Up With That, WATTS upwiththat.com. And the third is townhall.com under my columnists.
Thank you so much, Paul Driessen, for being our guest here on Conservative Commandos Radio Show. Take care and God bless.
Thank you. It's been my pleasure.
And we are coming to you from the Conservative Commandos Radio Network studios and around the world on the internet with TalkStream Live, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, American Political Radio, Leading Edge Radio Network, and AM/FM 24/7. Now you can watch us on the AUN TV network in Northern California. Nasir Shaikh, my co-host, and I will be right back after these messages.
Have you been leasing a property for your business or renting storage space? Are you tired of paying rent year after year? Call the experts at General Steel to own a building at up to 30% off now.
I'd been renting a building and paying someone else's mortgage, but General Steel showed me how I could own a space tailored to the needs of my business and for less than renting.
Call General Steel now at the number on your screen for our current building specials and to price your metal building system today.
My building's the dream I've had since finishing my house 14 years ago. I've been using it for a garage, workshop, and storage area for my tools and equipment, and I can't believe how great it turned out.
The economy is improving and the price of steel is expected to rise. Stop waiting. It could cost you thousands. Call General Steel now to see how you can own for less than you thought. Stop waiting to start your business or expand your operation. Call General Steel now.
Call 877-484-7002.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call low-cost airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals too.
Call 888-431-0562. That's 888-431-0562. 888-431-0562. 888-431-0562.
Friend, do you remember when it felt good to withdraw your cash from the bank to expand a business, go on vacation, or buy a new car? Well, today, withdrawing your own cash has become a very risky business, according to The Secret War, a shocking new research report. I just read it. And folks, I was amazed to learn why banks are now required to spy on us for the government and then report any suspicious or unusual behavior. I suggest you get The Secret War free. Just call the number on the screen, no charge, from the folks at Swiss America. And get this, did you know simply spending cash today may be enough to have you branded as a potential criminal? That's right. The new war on cash is really a war against all freedom-loving Americans. The Secret War is yours free, so call the number on the screen and you can tell them Pat Boone gave you the number.
AM/FM 24/7 Roku channel broadcasts all of our shows on demand. To ensure reliability, we store and stream our content on the same servers as Netflix and Amazon. Our Roku channel is free to use, and anyone owning one of the more than 10 million Roku devices can watch our channel at no cost whatsoever. If you have a television show or are thinking about producing a show, you can be a part of AM/FM 24/7's Roku channel. Watch our great shows on your Roku device. It's free and more reliable than cable TV. Are you stuck with a timeshare? Did you attend the presentation and were seduced and enticed into buying that great vacation and investment? Now you're in the terrible position of trying to figure out a way to get out of that mess. You're not alone. For over 15 years, BuyYourTimeshare.com has been helping people like yourself get out of timeshare ownership. The fact is there is no resale market. Unscrupulous telemarketers call you and say they have buyers waiting, and the next thing that happens is you give them hundreds of dollars for an ad, and you'll never hear from them again. Another fact is that an identical timeshare to yours is being offered on eBay for $1, and no one is buying it. If you want out of your timeshare, I urge you to go to BuyYourTimeshare.com or call them at 877-94-HELP-ME. That number again is 877-94-HELP-ME. BuyYourTimeshare.com. That's BuyYourTimeshare.com. 877-94-HELP-ME.
Dish TV is better than cable TV. Here's why. Dish has the nation's lowest TV price, along with an award-winning DVR that can skip commercials, record 8 shows at once, and get access to thousands of movies at your fingertips. Cable simply can't even compare. So the smart choice is to cut the cable and get Dish. Plus, you get all these great TV features, free HD DVR upgrade, free installation, and free movie channels. Say goodbye to cable and get more with Dish TV. 877-290-7764, 877-290-7764. As an added bonus, you can switch to Dish now and receive a $50 Visa gift card. So call now and get Dish TV. Call 877-290-7764, 877-290-7764. That's 877-290-7764. Limited time offer, 24-month commitment and credit qualification required. Cancellation fee, monthly equipment fees, and other restrictions apply. Promotion can change at any time.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the Conservative Commandos radio show. I'm Sharron Engel here with my co-host, Dr. Nasir Shaikh, and we are coming to you from the Conservative Commandos Radio Network studios. If you'd like to hear a rebroadcast of today's show, please check out our website, www.ccrshow.com. That's ccrshow.com. Also, please like us, friend us, and follow us on Facebook and on Twitter. And Nasir, our next guest is ready. Would you please make him feel welcome?
Thank you, Sharon. We have Chris Chmielenski. He serves as the Deputy Director for Numbers USA, which is the nation's largest grassroots immigration reduction organization. It has more than 8 million participants in all 435 congressional districts. It actually provides, this is Numbers USA, actually provides a civil forum for Americans of all political and ethnic backgrounds. So, Chris, welcome back to the Conservative Commandos radio show.
Thanks for having me back.
Well, we want to talk to you about an article that you wrote. Denver Area ICE Detention Facility Treats Illegal Aliens Humanely and Respectfully. But before we get that, for our listening and viewing audience, could you give us an idea, sort of give it in the introduction, but what exactly, in a little bit, could you tell us, what do you really do there at Numbers USA?
Sure. Well, as you said, we're the nation's largest grassroots immigration reduction organization, and what we do is, with this membership of 8 million plus across the country, is we provide them with tools to get in touch directly with their members of Congress. You know, there's so much noise that tends to block constituents from their members of Congress, the news media, lobbyists, corporate organizations, things like that. So we wanted to provide a direct link between the voters themselves and their elected officials. So that's what we do. We provide them with some messages that they can send. They can customize and send those messages to Congress, all on the immigration issue, and then keep them up to date on what's going on Capitol Hill in terms of immigration. And we also do some state-level activity as well.
Well, in your article, and I want to go to something immediately, but the article basically talks about how these detention facilities and how our ICE officers and how our Border Patrol agents, are really being mischaracterized, and the propaganda that's being put out there by the alt-left, the Democratic State Party-controlled media, and the left-stream media. And one of the things that was just absolutely, I looked at this, that the way that these detainees, and these are people who have committed a felony, they're illegal aliens that are being now detained at these facilities, but they are being, they're living better than the homeless here in America. And one of the things here they were talking about, there was a complaint that you write about from the detainees to the Inspector General about the lack of a soccer field. Now look at what they already have. You write, each prison, they get television tuned to the station in the language of the detainees. They get tablets for surfing the internet. They get video to chat with family and friends. They get telephones. They get a ping pong table. They get video game consoles, a microwave ovens, vending machines. They have access to the yard equipped with a basketball court, weightlifting courts. And you know what they decided to do? We allow these felons to basically complain that they didn't have a soccer field, and this facility, which is called GEO, says it's in the process of adding a field to the facility. Americans, we should be up in arms about this, that we can't get things done for American citizens, and yet here we are giving a soccer field to illegal aliens. Unbelievable.
Yeah, and you really have two different issues at play here. First, you have the ICE officers themselves who are coming under attack from really anti-immigration enforcement activists. They're these leftist groups that just oppose immigration enforcement. And then second, you have the same groups attacking the GEO group, which is this company that runs these prisons. They're a for-profit company that runs these prisons for ICE, because ICE shouldn't be really in the business of running detention centers. Their job is to enforce immigration laws. It's not to run and provide detention centers for detainees. So they contract that out to this third-party group. And really, again, these folks are upset that you have these for-profit. Again, they oppose any company that makes a profit, but they oppose these for-profit companies running these detention facilities that are used by ICE. But again, you ran through the list. The GEO group has really bent over backwards to provide I guess as good of a detention facility as one could ask for. Again, these folks are behind, they're in a detention center. They're being detained and they're awaiting deportation. Some of them are still going through the deportation process, so they don't have final removal orders from a judge. But again, the GEO group that runs these prisons, as well as the 30 immigration and customs enforcement officers that staff the detention facility, try to make it as comfortable as possible for the 1,400 or so detainees that are staying at the detention facility. The one that I toured was the one in Colorado.
Not only that, but you're talking about, for example, even meals. For example, it says GEO provides the detainees basically 3 squares per day, and I'm willing to bet that if one of those detainees were to say that I've got some dietary modifications that need to be done, they're probably, like you said, bending over backwards to give them those dietary necessities that they would need. And then you also write that these illegal aliens, they can volunteer to work in the kitchen or housekeeping, and they can earn money, and then they'll receive that when they're released. This is just unbelievable.
And a lot of that is just standard. They're just detention center standards that you see across the country. So there's standards that the federal government has established for all detention centers, whether they're detention centers that are detaining U.S. citizens who have committed crimes, or whether they're detaining illegal aliens who have crossed the border illegally or overstayed a visa. So those are just regular standards. The detention facility meets all of the federal standards. And again, you mentioned the fact that the detainees have complained to the Inspector General that they don't have access to a soccer field, and that's one of their big complaints. what's the detention facility doing? They're adding a soccer field and figuring out ways to secure the soccer fields for those detainees. So again, they're doing everything they possibly can, and yet you still have these groups calling these places concentration camps.
We're speaking here with Chris Chmielenski. He is a deputy director for Numbers USA, and his article on the Denver area ICE detention facility treats illegal aliens humanely and respectfully. Chris, we've got to go into a break, but we'd like to hold you over for another segment. Can you stay with us?
Absolutely.
Oh, great. And we are coming to you from the Conservative Commandos Radio Network studios and around the world on the internet with TalkStream Live, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, American Political Radio, Leading Edge Radio Network, and AM/FM 24/7. I'm your host, Dr. Nasir Shaikh. My co-host is Sharron Engel, and we'll be right back with Chris just after these messages. So stay tuned and don't go away.
Have you been leasing a property for your business or renting storage space? Are you tired of paying rent year after year? Call the experts at General Steel to own a building at up to 30% off now.
I'd been renting a building and paying someone else's mortgage, but General Steel showed me how I could own a space tailored to the needs of my business and for less than renting.
Call General Steel now at the number on your screen for our current building specials and to price your metal building system today.
My building's the dream I've had since finishing my house 14 years ago. I've been using it for a garage, workshop, and storage area for my tools and equipment, and I can't believe how great it turned out.
The economy is improving and the price of steel is expected to rise. Stop waiting. It could cost you thousands. Call General Steel now to see how you can own for less than you thought. Stop waiting to start your business or expand your operation. Call General Steel now.
Call 877-484-7002.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call low-cost airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals too.
Call 888-431-0562. That's 888-431-0562. 888-431-0562. 888-431-0562.
Friend, do you remember when it felt good to withdraw your cash from the bank to expand a business, go on vacation, or buy a new car? Well, today, withdrawing your own cash has become a very risky business, according to The Secret War, a shocking new research report. I just read it. And folks, I was amazed to learn why banks are now required to spy on us for the government and then report any suspicious or unusual behavior. I suggest you get The Secret War free. Just call the number on the screen, no charge, from the folks at Swiss America, and get this. Did you know simply spending cash today may be enough to have you branded as a potential criminal? That's right. The new war on cash is really a war against all freedom-loving Americans. The Secret War is yours free, so call the number on the screen and you can tell them Pat Boone gave you the number.
AM/FM 24/7 Roku channel broadcasts all of our shows on demand. To ensure reliability, we store and stream our content on the same servers as Netflix and Amazon. Our Roku channel is free to use, and anyone owning one of the more than 10 million Roku devices can watch our channel at no cost whatsoever. If you have a television show or are thinking about producing a show, you can be a part of AM/FM 24/7's Roku channel. Watch our great shows on your Roku device. It's free and more reliable than cable TV. Are you stuck with a timeshare? Did you attend the presentation and were seduced and enticed into buying that great vacation and investment? Now you're in the terrible position of trying to figure out a way to get out of that mess. You're not alone. For over 15 years, BuyYourTimeshare.com has been helping people like yourself get out of timeshare ownership. The fact is there is no resale market. Unscrupulous telemarketers call you and say they have buyers waiting, and the next thing that happens is you give them hundreds of dollars for an ad, and you'll never hear from them again. Another fact is that an identical timeshare to yours is being offered on eBay for $1, and no one is buying it. If you want out of your timeshare, I urge you to go to buyyourtimeshare.com or call them at 877-94-HELP-ME. That number again is 877-94-HELP-ME. Buyyourtimeshare.com. That's buyyourtimeshare.com. 877-94-HELP-ME.
Dish TV is better than cable TV. Here's why. Dish has the nation's lowest TV price, along with an award-winning DVR that can skip commercials, record 8 shows at once, and get access to thousands of movies at your fingertips. Cable simply can't even compare. So the smart choice is to cut the cable and get Dish. Plus, you get all these great TV features, free HD DVR upgrade, free installation, and free movie channels. Say goodbye to cable and get more with Dish TV. 877-290-7764, 877-290-7764. As an added bonus, you can switch to Dish now and receive a $50 Visa gift card. So call now and get Dish TV. Call 877-290-7764, 877-290-7764. That's 877-290-7764. Limited time offer, 24-month commitment and credit qualification required. Cancellation fee, monthly equipment fees, and other restrictions apply. Promotion can change at any time.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Conservative Commandos radio show. We are coming to you from our Conservative Commandos radio network studios, and we would like to give a shout out to our listeners in Jacksonville, Tampa, and the Villages, Florida, Las Vegas and Reno, Nevada, Macon, Georgia, Lancaster and Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Boulder and Colorado Springs, Colorado, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Long Beach, California, Alexandria, Virginia, and Washington, D.C. Nasir Shaikh is my co-host. I'm Sharron Engel, and we've been talking to our guest, Chris Chmielenski, who is Numbers USA Deputy Director, and he's written an interesting article, Denver Area ICE Detention Facility Treats Illegal Aliens Humanely and Respectfully. Chris, thanks for staying through the break with us.
My pleasure.
Well, Aurora, Colorado, that's where this ICE detention facility is, and the city council, they get a complaint from these ICE protesters, abolish ICE protesters, and did they close it, or what did they do? It sounds like they just took a knee-jerk reaction and started canceling stuff.
Right. Again, there are two issues that these anti-enforcement activists have with these detention facilities. Number one, that ICE contracts with private for-profit companies. And number two, that there exists, that these ICE detention centers exist in the first place. So in response to it, what the Denver City Council did, Aurora borders the city of Denver, but what the city of Denver did was they canceled their contract with the company that runs the ICE detention facility in Aurora. They have the detention company, the Geo Group, actually runs a handful of halfway houses within the city limits of Denver, so they canceled out those contracts. Now, they came under tremendous public pressure after that because of what they had done. So they've actually come to a temporary agreement now with the Geo Group that they're going to reopen those facilities until they can figure out another way to house these folks. But essentially, they're now again, these are U.S. citizens that have been convicted of usually minor crimes, usually drug related crimes, and they have been convicted of these crimes and they've been incarcerated. But they're in halfway houses, but they're the ones who are going to have to pay the price should the city of Denver move forward, just because they don't like the fact that the same company that's running these halfway houses are also running an ICE detention facility just around the corner.
Well, you said there's also been a concern about the facility's handling of inmates with contagious diseases. Now, I thought the doctor would go after this issue. I'm a bit concerned because of what's going on in the homeless populations in California. Of course, it's a complete influx of illegal immigration there, and we're seeing now diseases that we've not seen for years and years, typhus, and I guess there's even a prediction that we might see some bubonic plague. So talk to us a little bit about these contagious diseases in this facility.
And that's just a direct result of our federal government having a complete lack of control of the immigration system, and it's not necessarily to blame President Trump. This lack of control of an immigration system has been in place for decades, and he's done everything that he can to try to patch the holes. But we have an ongoing surge. The president has tried to take steps to end the surge, but he needs cooperation from Congress, and Congress has refused to cooperate with him to try to close some of these loopholes. And when you have hundreds of thousands of people crossing the border illegally, like what we've seen over the last 10 to 12 months, and these people are essentially coming in unchecked. So, and they're bringing diseases that most Americans are vaccinated against. But again, there are a decent number of Americans who aren't vaccinated against these diseases, and some diseases that we haven't seen in decades that are also coming in because these folks are coming from countries that the countries do have horrible conditions and they don't have great medical care. So it's not a surprise that they're coming in with these diseases. But again, how it relates to the detention center is these folks are getting detained by Immigration and Customs Enforcement. They're being in processed into the detention center with these diseases, and they do everything they possibly can to keep these diseases out of the detention center. But there's only so much they can do when you're detaining, again, 12 to 1,400 folks in a contained facility.
Well, and you said they come from all over the world. Talk about the countries and how many countries you were able to determine in that population there.
Yeah, so when I toured the facility just a couple of weeks ago, the warden had said that they at that time had detainees from 64 different countries, and the countries, some of them you would expect: Mexico, El Salvador, Honduras, Guatemala. None of those really come as much of a surprise. Even Cuba, there's a decent Cuban population in there. That doesn't really come much of a surprise. But you also had folks from India and from China and from some countries in Africa that you just wouldn't even expect. Nobody really thinks of that when they think of illegal immigration. But you have folks from the Horn of Africa, Somalia, Eritrea. So it's an interesting mix of folks that are there. Most people, again, tend to connect illegal immigration to Mexico and Central America, but it's really it's a much bigger population than that of these folks that are crossing the border illegally.
Well, and that's where we get this total inability to control what they're bringing with them, because there is no checkpoint. There's no place to say, what do you got? What are you bringing into our country? Are you sick? I know when my ancestors came into New York City, they had to go through it. If they were sick, they had to go home. They wouldn't even let them in this country. So there is a problem with so many countries coming in, and I know we're not even catching all of them. That 1,400 doesn't reflect 100% catch on the border, does it, Chris?
No, it doesn't. Usually the border apprehension numbers, we hear a conservative estimate is that represents about 50% of the folks that are actually trying to cross the border or get across the border illegally. So, last month's border apprehension numbers were 51,000. So double that. A Border Patrol would estimate that about 102,000 folks tried to break into the country by crossing the border illegally. That's a big number, and that's the lowest number that we've had in 5 or 6 months, which is just shocking. So again, Border Patrol, the men and women of Border Patrol are trying to do everything they can to process these folks as quickly as possible. But when you get groups of a few hundred people crossing the border illegally all at the same time, it's very difficult to provide immediate medical care to them and other services. So all they're really trying to do is process them as quickly as possible and move them throughout the system.
Well, and as you point out in your article, the magnet is jobs, and that's where we have to kind of leave this. I know we'll talk to you more about this issue and in the future, but can you give us a way to follow you, read your article, and find the solutions that Numbers USA is promoting?
Absolutely. The best two ways to track us down are through our website, numbersusa.com, and to join our Facebook page, facebook.com/numbersusa. We've got about 7.1 million fans on Facebook who are all fighting for the same thing, to end illegal immigration and to reduce overall immigration numbers.
Thank you so much, Chris Chmielenski, for being our guest here on Conservative Commandos radio show. Take care and God bless.
Thank you so much for having me.
And we are coming to you from the Conservative Commandos Radio Network studios and around the world on the internet with TalkStream Live, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, American Political Radio, Leading Edge Radio Network, and AM/FM 24/7. You can also watch us on TV at the AUN TV network in Northern California. Dr. Nasir Shaikh and I are co-hosting today, and we'll be right back after these messages.
AM/FM 24/7 Roku channel broadcasts all of our shows on demand. To ensure reliability, we store and stream our content on the same servers as Netflix and Amazon. Our Roku channel is free to use, and anyone owning one of the more than 10 million Roku devices can watch our channel at no cost whatsoever. If you have a television show or are thinking about producing a show, you can be a part of AM/FM 24/7's Roku channel. Watch our great shows on your Roku device. It's free and more reliable than cable TV. Are you stuck with a timeshare? Did you attend the presentation and were seduced and enticed into buying that great vacation and investment? Now you're in the terrible position of trying to figure out a way to get out of that mess. You're not alone. For over 15 years, BuyYourTimeshare.com has been helping people like yourself get out of timeshare ownership. The fact is, there is no resale market. Unscrupulous telemarketers call you and say they have buyers waiting, and the next thing that happens is you give them hundreds of dollars for an ad, and you'll never hear from them again. Another fact is that an identical timeshare to yours is being offered on eBay for $1, and no one is buying it. If you want out of your timeshare, I urge you to go to buyyourtimeshare.com or call them at 877-94-HELP-ME. That number again is 877-94-HELP-ME. BuyYourTimeshare.com. That's buyyourtimeshare.com. 877-94-HELP-ME.
Dish TV is better than cable TV. Here's why. Dish has the nation's lowest TV price, along with an award-winning DVR that can skip commercials, record 8 shows at once, and get access to thousands of movies at your fingertips. Cable simply can't even compare. So the smart choice is to cut the cable and get Dish. Plus, you get all these great TV features, free HD DVR upgrade, free installation, and free movie channels. Say goodbye to cable and get more with Dish TV. 877-290-7764, 877-290-7764. As an added bonus, you can switch to Dish now and receive a $50 Visa gift card. So call now and get Dish TV. Call 877-290-7764, 877-290-7764. That's 877-290-7764. Limited time offer, 24-month commitment and credit qualification required. Cancellation fee, monthly equipment fees, and other restrictions apply. Promotion can change at any time.
Welcome back, everyone. Welcome to the Conservative Commandos radio show. I'm Sharron Engel here with my co-host, Nasir Shaikh, the doctor from the Republic, Dr. Nasir Shaikh, Dr. Wright. And we've had a great show today here. Nasir, would you thank our guests? Because they make the show.
They certainly do, Sharon. They certainly do. Our first guest we want to thank is Marlo Lewis, Jr., who's a senior fellow at the Competitive Enterprise Institute. And Marlo basically was talking to us about his article about climate change, a crisis in the town hall with the Democratic presidential candidates. We also want to thank Paul Driessen, who is a senior policy advisor for the Committee for a Constructive Tomorrow, that's CFAC. Folks, a great article here. Buckets of ice-cold reality. The Democratic presidential candidates and the Green New Dealers need to face some hard energy facts. And finally, to Chris Chmielenski, who is the Deputy Director for Numbers USA. And Chris was talking about his article, what was happening at the Denver area ICE detention facility treats illegal aliens humanely and respectfully. I was one of your hosts, Dr. Nasir Shaikh. If you want to get a hold of me, you can do so at my Twitter account, which is at Nasir Shaikh Show. That's at Nasir Shaikh Show. Or at Facebook, which is The Nasir Shaikh Show. That's The Nasir Shaikh Show. And Sharron, why don't you share with our viewing, listening audience where they can get a hold of you and the articles and things that you talk about?
Thank you so much, Nasir. Of course, my website is SharronAngle.com. Simply SharronAngle.com. It's been a pleasure being a co-host with you today. And that's all we've got, because for right now, we got to run. We got to go. Take care. God bless. We'll see you tomorrow on TV and radio.